Hello and welcome back once again to the Neon Nightcast podcast. This is our weekly podcast, our weekly show where we talk about anything pop culture. I am your host, Michael Thrax, and like always, I am joined by Garrett Zagri and Eric Dr. Soybean.
Thanks, or as I like to call the two of you, the Posey and Jim to my Andy French.
I got nothing.
Oh god, I know this is Mission Hill. God.
There you go, you ruined it for everyone. So today's topic...
Well, you're ruining it! What?
I think Mike actually made a lot of people happy by actually finally fucking knowing one.
Yeah, it could be too.
Well, I didn't want to get to the topic because I wanted to go, guys, it seems today that all we see is violence and movies and sex on TV.
We do this thing where we tease what we're going to talk about while we have a fucking picture of it.
And like a title.
Yeah. Yeah, it just kind of clicked for me too. That never makes sense.
Like the Lord of the Rings one, where it's like a little indie book or whatever.
But book. Like the intro you did on Lord of the Rings gave it away instantly.
Oh yeah. Well, anyways, since you already all know, unless somehow you're blind and just clicking on this, we're gonna talk about the TV show Family Guy. Family Guy is a cartoon American sitcom created by Seth MacFarlane. He created other shows and series such as American Dad, Ted, Million Ways
Cleveland
to Die
Show.
in the West, Cleveland Show. I think, well, first of all, I think overall Seth MacFarlane is... I think he is funny. I know a lot of people hate on him and call him a hack and shit, but I enjoy his work. I know it's not the best stuff out there, but like it's good enough.
Not a shining endorsement, but
yeah, like it's just good enough. It's not the best. You don't have to watch it. It's just good enough.
Well, you can't expect every writer or every creator to pump out the greatest shit ever.
Well, I will say I think he works better in the medium of television than in movies,
and
personally.
He's a better voice actor than he is an actor, and I think he's just a better creator than a actor.
Honestly, I think his best entertainment item he's ever done is his music.
Yeah.
He's a great voice, does like a big band style music, like Sinatra or Dino Martin.
Which is, it's showing through, like, so many times through Family Guy, at least. I know American Dad has some music.
Yeah. Anytime Brian sings, basically.
Yeah. Well, and, like, I wanted to say, like, even Larry David has written things that he's not proud of. Like, he hates his movie that he made.
Well, Larry David made a movie that I've never... It's about a guy, and one of the main plot points is that he can suck his own dick.
Yeah, like...
That's great.
Larry David made, like, the two of the best sitcoms ever, but he still has shit. So...
On his resume.
Yeah. So, anyways, Family Guy, what do you guys think of it currently? And... yeah, let's currently. What do you guys think of it right now?
So I've just watched the ones that are on Netflix. I haven't watched any of, I think, the current season. Season 15, I think, is the one on Netflix. Or not 15, sorry, 14.
Yeah.
But I think there's some episodes that are just bombs, you know. But I think Seth MacFarlane still has some gems in the later seasons. Like, every now and then you'll watch an episode that made you laugh and you thought was hilarious. So I still think they're doing well, even though in the ratings they're not. I think that Seth MacFarlane's still producing quality content.
Well, like ratings in general, I think everything that airs around the same time as Family Guy, I don't think any of them are really doing that well. Like Simpsons and Bob's Burgers.
Oh yeah, I think honestly it might just
Well-
be animated series that aren't doing well.
I just don't
Simpsons.
think people just don't watch
Simpsons
TV anymore.
Simpsons has kind of been holding, like, their ratings aren't great, especially when you compare it to their early years when it was actually a good show. But they've kind of been holding steady for about a decade now. Whereas Family Guy in the past, especially the season that's currently airing, they really took a nosedive in the ratings.
Yeah.
I think that Family Guy is still super popular online though, like on Hulu and Netflix. I think it's still a really popular show.
Yeah, I usually put it on Arc, the streaming site. That lately, like, it's been Family Guy or Bob's Burgers. But I think it's okay. It's not funnier than it used to be because like mid seasons, like season 8, I think is my favorite season. But I know that
Yeah, how do you like know your favorite seasons? Like I think of episodes, but I don't even know what season they're in.
yeah, because there's not like a story or anything. I'm
Yeah.
honestly, I think I'm wrong. I think it might be season 10. That there was one season it had a story and it was really good, but comparatively to like when it first started, let's say like the first 2 seasons, I think it is generally funnier. When I look back at the older episodes, I find it just really. Those are the jokes that everyone made fun of. Like, with,
mean by
like,
that?
too many cutaways, or, like, the scraping the knee and going,
Oh,
Though that
yeah.
wasn't the first 2 seasons. That
Yeah,
was
that was after the revival.
okay, but that's very early
See-
within it.
See, what I think happened is, well, first of all, I have been watching the newest season, and I do think it's going downhill. To their credit, they're in season 15 now, and it's nowhere near as bad as, for example, The Simpsons was by season 15. So I give them credit for keeping going longer than The Simpsons, but I do think it is declining in quality. The first 2 seasons, I mean, we'll get into this later, they had a completely different feel.
Yeah.
And I saw them so many times back in the day that I kind of got sick of them. But if you rewatch them now, it's almost like watching a different series, and it is actually really, really funny. It's after they first came back that what you're talking about, Mike, when it was cutaways like every second, that was more after they just came back from being canceled.
Yeah, you're
They
right.
turned the wackiness dial to 11 and ripped it off. And then later on, they kind of backed away from that because they realized everybody was mocking them for that, and it was going too far.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind the cutaways every once in a while, but I find now it's kind of more like American Dad structurally. Like, I don't know. Because I was going to say, it has like a story to every episode, but like,
Well,
it's
of
every
course,
fucking
but-
episode of everything. But
Yeah.
it just I find it more just I guess less cutaways, less jokes, random jokes, and more of jokes just like actually having to do with what's going on.
They've definitely toned down the cutaways. It's now maybe like 5, 6 an episode, whereas in the peak period after the cancellation for a while there, it was literally almost every fucking joke was a cutaway.
Yeah.
A cutaway of Conway Twitty.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well,
Like, those ones
I kind of enjoyed those, to be honest, because I think that guy, like, I'm not even into country music, but he has a great fucking voice.
He
And I
does.
always
Yeah, I love
enjoyed seeing
Conway
them.
Twitty.
But like they went on way too long. Like they would
Yeah.
go on for like 60 seconds sometimes.
I think
Well,
the
the worst-
first one was they play the entire song.
Yeah, they played way too much fucking
Well, the
Conway Twitty.
worst for that is when they showed the ridiculous Mick Jagger, David Bowie music
Oh
video
my
dancing in the
God,
streets in its entirety.
Yeah. It goes on for so long.
And, like, yeah, it's funny because that's one of the most, like, insane. You're like, how the fuck did they actually make that? But to show it in its entirety, I mean, that eats up almost. I mean, an episode without commercials these days is about 21 minutes. That's a 4-minute music video, so that's almost a fifth of the episode is that video.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like it. I still think it. I still think it's funny. I still like it, though I don't think I've seen season 15, but I know that I saw season 14.
Yeah, I still enjoy watching it. Like, I don't know why, but it's just one of those shows that I can always just turn on an episode and just watch.
Well, it's good in that sense because it's a completely, and I mean this as a compliment in this sense, it's a completely mindless show. You don't have to really pay attention to it at all. So it's good in that sense that you can always throw it on. Whereas even something like, I don't know why I keep going back to The Simpsons, but even something like The Simpsons, which, yes, it's a comedy, but you still have to pay attention to it a bit more than Family Guy.
Yeah, Family Guy is definitely one of the best things. Like, if you're hanging out with friends or whatever, you can just put that on in the back.
Yeah.
Why don't I just put on music?
Oh, you can do that.
Hanging out with friends. Like,
yeah, you can put music on.
Do you always, whenever you're hanging out with people, just put on a random TV show, Mike?
Often I do. I don't know why they think that's weird.
I've been
I think it's, well, I'm just thinking it's funny because what else? What are you doing? Are you just watching a TV show? You're not talking or anything?
Oh, like I've been at parties and like they've had like Family Guy on in the background and like you're drunk and you're just sitting there talking with your friends and then some random dumb shit happens. It's not like like an episode of like Curb Your Enthusiasm where like you have to like pay attention and then this is like a callback to the beginning of the episode. This is why this joke is funny. No, it's Family Guy. It's just like, oh my god, they're barfing all over each other. It's funny. Yeah,
that episode was great.
That is a good episode.
It was disgusting, but it was great. That was one of those clips that if you had friends that didn't watch Family Guy, you'd be like, oh my god, okay, well you got to come watch this clip.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing that on YouTube and shit.
And the same one whenever Brian doesn't give Stewie his money back. Where's my money, Brian? Where's my money, Brian?
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, that one's good. And also when Stewie's on steroids and he's trying to stop Brian from walking down the stairs.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
With him, he just like puts him in a headlock and he's like, I'm just messing with you, man. You can do whatever you want. Why are you so serious?
Yeah, and he's like really like hurting him with the headlock.
Yeah.
There was when I worked at the summer camp, there was 2 girls on swim that were so lazy and so awful at their jobs. And every morning I'd see them and I'd like put them in headlocks and just be like, there's my 2 favorite staff.
Oh.
And it's literally because of that episode.
You're a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Seriously.
Well, I wouldn't hurt him. Anyways, sure. What
Stewie didn't think he was hurting Brian.
Oh, Stewie knew what he was doing. Who's your favorite? Well, okay. First of all, what's your favorite Seth MacFarlane show? Out of we won't say the Cleveland Show. Out of Family Guy or American Dad?
Mine would definitely be American Dad. I think American Dad is funnier because I like Roger. So Stewie and Roger are my favorite characters on both shows.
Yeah.
But I think Roger and Stan are funnier than like Stewie and Brian are.
I don't know. That's hard for me to say. I don't know if I can really give you an answer because I think American Dad really went downhill after they switched networks to TBS. I don't know what it was. I couldn't even tell you what changed, but I just don't like the TBS episodes. But the previous ones on Fox I thought were definitely better than Family Guy. But current Family Guy I'd put above current American Dad, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I would definitely say American Dad. I know that the earlier American Dads are kind of bad, just like the early Family Guy. But
season 1 of American Dad is definitely worse than season 1 of Family Guy.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Anyways, go on.
Stan is too much sometimes.
Yeah, he's too rigid sometimes. He doesn't bend.
It's kind of like a good comparison is actually the first couple seasons of King of the Hill, where Hank was completely ridiculous.
Hank was a man's man. So propane accessories.
And they toned that down a little bit in later seasons, which made it better. It's kind of the same thing.
But I would definitely say American Dad. I know that just generally the episodes are just funnier because they're actually like a decent story. Not that, but like they just do it better than Family Guy does it. And it is just because the characters are more, I guess I would say more realistic, even though one's an alien.
You know, on Family Guy, you've got a fucking talking dog and a talking baby, so...
So, who's your favorite character on Family Guy?
I already said mine was Stewie, so... Yeah, Eric, on to you.
Oh, Christ. You know, I don't know if I've ever even thought about my favorite Family Guy character, because it's kind of like an ensemble cast. Kind of like The Simpsons, where there's a lot of supporting characters that are really funny as well.
Yeah, but most of the side characters of Family Guy fucking suck.
Yeah, they're not as good as Simpsons side characters, definitely.
Except for the deaf guy.
I do like Quagmire a lot, actually. Maybe him.
See,
I was thinking you were going to say Quagmire. I don't know why, but I was thinking Eric's going to pick Quagmire.
Quagmire is good, and I still say that Quagmire would have made it better. Okay, first of all, Brian and Stewie would have made a better spinoff than Cleveland, and Quagmire would have made a better spinoff than Cleveland.
I don't know. I disagree about Quagmire because I don't know how you could base a series around him. I kind of like him. I think he works better as a side.
What do you mean? The entire series could just be like, it'd be like Johnny Bravo, but more adult.
Well,
like every day there'd be like some new woman that he wants to fuck, and he has to like go through all these.
Quagmire is a commercial pilot. The whole story could be about him going to other cities and being like a fucking horn dog there.
Yeah, and like then he could have still been on Family Guy.
Yeah.
But
fuck, there's someone's gonna say.
Either way, my favorite character on Family Guy is Brian, and I like him a lot because it's funny because in a way he's the most human character. He's a sentient dog. Like, he's more intelligent than the average dog. He's pretty dumb. You know, he's always getting caught out for his bullshit. And I think that kind of plays with it because, like, you know, okay, he's smarter than the dog, but he's not smarter than those people.
He's one of those people, you know, that think they're smarter than they are. They think they're, like, a genius.
Yeah.
And whenever you actually talk to them, they're not. They're just not.
But I find it works for Brian because it makes sense because he's aware that he is going to die of old age in like 4 years. So he's trying so hard to leave a mark. He's trying so hard to be more important than he is because he's like scared of his mortality. And I just find that, and I don't think they had this in mind, but I just find that they have this really kind of deep character that they just kind of stumbled upon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they had that in mind in the earlier seasons, when it was basically just the joke that he was a dog who, like, smoked and drank.
Yeah, whose leg do I gotta hump to get a dry martini?
Yeah. See, some of my favorite interactions in the show are between Quagmire and Brian.
Yeah.
Because
the
Brian
best is when
Brian will
Quagmire
say something
totally...
like super liberal or something like he's trying to be deep or smart, and Quagmire just like calls him out on his bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. There's that one scene when they're in the restaurant when he just totally like lays it all.
No, yeah, he's like, "Why don't you like me?" And he's like, "You really want to know why?"
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he's right. He's 100% right.
Yeah. There's the episode. Fuck. There's just one thing where like Brian walks in and then Quagmire's just instantly like, no, get him out of here. But that's the thing that I like about Brian, I guess, is because he has all these faults. It's not like his fault isn't like Peter where he's just dumb. He's like he has so many real problems.
See, I don't know. Brian, I think you're right. He does have like this sense to be more important than what he is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just poor Brian, I guess. He's got Stewie to help him in any way. One of the saddest episodes, or I guess not sad, but funny, was whenever Stewie wrote a play. And Brian gave it to
so
Brian
much
to
better than
proofread.
Brian's play.
Yeah, and like Stewie's was like super amazing, like went to fucking Broadway, and then ended up being shit. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know that, and I forget what number this is, but my favorite season, it followed. Now it had Brian. In most episodes, Brian was the A character, and Peter was like more of like the B character, like the B story. And
I believe it was season 6, but go on.
And it's when Brian is dating that really dumb girl, Jillian. And that has like the episode where Brian and Stewie are rebuilding the house, where Brian and Stewie both move out and live with Jillian. And regardless,
it was the only season where they had like an overarching storyline that continued through multiple episomes. Other than, I guess, the couple of episodes around the whole Brian's death fake out. Yeah. Other than that, it was the only time they've done a multi-episode storyline.
And I feel like the show worked better having an ongoing story, and then it worked better just not having Peter as the main fucking character, because character Peter is just so bad. And
this is my theory. This is my theory on this. I have no proof of this, but my theory is that they did that season, and executives at Fox were like, "No, people don't want to see people." And when they watch Family Guy, they just want to see Peter doing dumb shit.
Yeah,
and that's why they went back. That's my theory, anyways.
Yeah. Well, I just know, like, compared to like South Park, I know I liked when South Park was just random episodes. I liked it better, and it's not like because the newest seasons of South Park have an ongoing story, and they're not like they're bad. I just like it when they do random episodes more. Where Family Guy, I think I'd like it more if they just followed a story.
It seems like cartoons play around with that a lot. King of the Hill often had ongoing stories, whereas The Simpsons never did that. They never did ongoing stories, even in their classic years. Home Movies, a show we've brought up before, Mike, they went from, in season 1, it was random stories, and then seasons 2 and 3, they did a bunch of season-long plot lines. And then for the 4th and final season, they went back to random stories. So I don't know what it is about cartoons and continuously playing around with that concept.
Yeah. Well, I know South Park's is trying to stay relevant and new. But I don't know. I just think Family Guy would work better that way. Just because the best season was,
I do agree with you. I think Peter is better as a B character.
Yeah, I definitely like the episodes more whenever they revolve around what Brian and Stewie are doing.
Yeah.
Over anyone else.
Well, Peter. Let's talk about Peter for a second. Peter starts the beginning of the show. Peter it's kind of like Homer, right? Like he's more of a regular person. He's not completely dumb. Like in the later seasons, Peter is like mentally ill. Like he's a child.
Challenged.
Well, the whole thing when Family Guy started is people often accused them of just ripping off Homer because he was essentially, he was a slow-witted father, but who genuinely cared about his family, which has always been Homer's characterization.
Is that why he choked Bart? Because he cared about his family?
Well, that was just him in a moment of rage, but
totally justified rage to abuse a child.
One of the
that he loves, guys. He loves that child. Don't take that child away from him.
One of the things that The Simpsons has been going downhill for is in the earlier seasons, Homer was never really maliciously mean, whereas in the newer episodes, fans have a term for it, jerk-ass Homer, and also they made him a lot stupider.
Yeah.
Peter kind of went through the same transformation. He became more of an asshole and he became stupider, but he became incredibly fucking stupider.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like Homer, they're both just awful. They're both kind of the weakest point of their shows. Like,
no, come on. In classic Simpsons, Homer made the show. Are you talking about current Simpsons?
Yeah. Okay. Current. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I was talking, I was like, wait a minute, no, Bart sucks, Lisa sucks, Marge sucks. Yeah, Homer made up The Simpsons. Where Family Guy, it's like the side characters or like the other people in the family are better. And then American Dad, like they're all good.
Lois is a total fucking bitch now, though. Like, I legitimately hate Lois sometimes.
Yeah. Like, well, yeah, we can talk about character development. It's like early on, Lois was just like
the
one like fucking dealing with all Peter's bullshit.
But
like,
Peter,
trying to get all of her kids in line, and then now she's I don't know how to describe her now. She's like only looking out for herself now. She doesn't care, I feel, what happens to anyone else.
Because she's just fucking tired of dealing with fucking Peter.
And then...
Whereas Francine, her counterpart, is one of the best characters on American Dad.
Yeah, Francine's awesome.
Yeah, but another person we should talk about developing was Stewie. How in the early seasons he was the evil genius that like was every episode basically that had Stewie in it. He was trying to kill Lois.
Yeah.
Like,
and then they just kind of made him and then they just kind of made him ambiguously gay and
yes. Like, it is hilarious though. Like, he's amazing as that. I think it's hilarious. I think they made a good transition because whenever he's trying to kill Lois, I mean, there were a couple funny moments, but now, like,
but also, how many times could they really do that same joke? You know?
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Stewie as this like young, questioning little boy, it's hilarious because he's put in situations that just are hilarious.
I think anytime he cross dresses.
Yeah, like he always cross dresses with Brian. He always like tries to get Brian to like kiss him or like do something with him.
Yeah. I think one of the earliest moments when they hinted towards that is when Brian's describing sex to him, and he's like, it's like when you're trying to get a car into a tight parking space and you think it's not going to fit, but you fold the mirrors back and there it goes. And Stewie's like, it sounds like in that scenario, I'd rather be the parking space than the car. And Brian's just like, that's what I've always suspected.
Yeah. Actually, today on Instagram, I saw this ridiculous thing on a meme page, and it was like an anime music video, and it was like scenes of like Brian and Stewie, and like then like fan pictures of them like making out, and it was like to some love song. And it was so funny because, like, someone made this. Someone out there ships Brian and Stewie.
Are you kidding me? It's the internet. There's probably people who ship fucking SpongeBob with Darth Vader.
But anyways, with the Stewie thing, it's like basically what you said, Eric. It's like they could only do that same joke.
Right. It would have eventually become so played out.
So there was a couple of things that kind of like that they did to, I think, actually show the progression within the character. Not that, like, you know, in between seasons they're just different, like fucking Peter. So with Stewie, they had the episodes, I think it was a 2-parter where he becomes the president and kills Lois or whatever, and then you find out that it was just a simulation.
And that made him realize he wasn't ready for it or something like that.
Yeah, and then what happens to him in the movie, the
untold story of Stewie Griffin.
Yeah, it kind of changed him, right? I think because the Stewie that it follows might actually die in the end of that, so maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember, to be honest.
You're incorrect. I just want to point out that Stewie's the only other baby in the show is Bonnie and Joe's Susie.
Yep.
And her thoughts are voiced by P. Stew.
Stew, yep. P. Stew.
There he is again.
And then there's also that episode where Stewie got the entire cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation on, even fucking shitty Tasha Yar.
Yeah.
Was killed off in the first season of Star Trek.
Yeah. Because I remember when I first saw that episode, I was like, "Who is that one woman?"
Yeah,
like I didn't remember her at all.
Exactly. Yeah, because she's in there for only one season. It would have been really impressive if they got the doctor that replaced Crusher even in there too.
Well, I think it would make more sense to get her than the fucking Tasha Yar, because like she's in like half of season 1, maybe.
Tasha Yar was in most of season 1. She was like up until the season finale, I think.
I don't think so. I think she's
I'll look it
6
up.
episodes. Yeah.
But Tasha Yar had a crush with what's his name? Yeah.
She fucks Data, and then in the episode that she dies, they really ham it up, her and Worf flirting with each other.
What year was TNG?
So, while Gator looks that up, Eric.
She was in 31 episodes.
What? I can't believe that.
Oh shit! Okay, never mind. Remember she had like that other role, Sayla or something. That's what it says.
Oh right. Yeah, so they're counting that too.
Sayla.
Yeah. Fuck.
Anyways, Mike, you were asking something.
Yes. Yes,
Dead air.
No, it's not dead air.
If we were a radio show, we would be fucking terrible.
Well, we would actually have actual soundboards, and we would just fill it with like toilet flushes and farts.
Or we'd like
stuff.
get Baba Booey in here and molest him or something.
Baba Booey, someone's penis.
Howard Stern's penis.
Howard Stern's penis.
They actually made that joke on. They actually made that joke on Family Guy.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was Peter's at. He was. I forget who it was, but it's like he accused somebody of sexually molesting him, and the lawyer's like, "What would you say if we had evidence that not only have you never met the accused, but you've never even been in the same state?" And he just like looks blank for a second, then he grabs the microphone and he's just like, "Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Howard Stern's penis."
I think that's basically why we say that.
Yeah.
So what I was going to bring up was
Okay.
there's so many parts, so many episodes that like they don't use the entire family, like the voice actors, but they'll
hardly ever used.
Yeah, but they'll have them in there. So like the character just stands there or sits there and just says nothing. And
because they know they're unimportant.
Yeah, but like, and that's what always bugs me. Like with animation, I guess they do it a lot, I more so than live action. Like, I know there's an episodes of Bob's Burgers where a bunch of kids have lice or something, and they're stuck in the nurse's office. And like the final scene, they're like confronting the nurse because they don't actually have lice. And there's like 16 kids in this room, but they're all just standing there and watching like Tina and Louise and talking to the nurse. And like none of these other kids are saying anything. And I'm like, in this situation, like all these fucking kids would be yelling at this nurse.
Not all of them. There are some kids that would have been shy, Mike.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, it always weirds me out. It always bugs me in animation when they do that. When they just have characters standing there doing nothing.
Why would you want to pay for extra voice actors?
You should. I don't know. You made me think. There's a scene in. You can YouTube it. There's a scene in King of Queens, which is a live action show, where Patton Oswalt, who plays one of Doug's friends, decided to basically, I guess, troll people. So there's a scene where there's a whole bunch of people at Doug's house having a birthday party, and for the entire scene, he's just standing there completely motionless with like no expression on his face, not like moving an inch or doing or saying anything. And so when you notice it, it's like so obvious.
Holy shit, I need to look that up.
Yeah.
Update on Tasha Yar. She died in episode 23, season 1. Season 1 had 26 episodes. She was in most of season 1.
Shit, I didn't... Because I rewatched it like 2 years ago, and I swear to God, it felt like I watched like 6 episodes, and then she
2 years is a lot of time for your memory to degrade.
That's true. Plus, my memory is garbage to begin with. It's really good for like random shit.
Like, you guys remember, like, you guys are like spot on TV shows. Like, you guys say shit, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that was an episode. I mean, now that you said it, I remember it, but I wouldn't have remembered it on my own.
Yeah. Well, like I'll go back and I'll replay like an old RPG or something, and I still remember everything. Like Final Fantasy IX, dude. Like, I remember everything. It's so dumb. Like, why couldn't my brain remember, I don't know, schoolwork?
Like, schoolwork wasn't something you had in passion, interest for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
It's just
like whenever I play games, and it's a game I've replayed. So like whenever I'm playing The Witcher 3 again, I usually listen to music while I play games. Whenever I go to certain places, I'll remember the music that was playing when I was there the first time I played through. Or like if I'm watching like a TV show while I'm playing a game, I'll remember what TV show I was watching. Yeah. Sometimes even the episode whenever I'm playing the game. It's pretty crazy.
I know that I played when I lived with my friends, my old roommates, me and this one roommate, we played the game Tales of Symphonia together, and it was a really fun, really good time. And like, so that was probably like the third time I played through that game, but it was her first time, and I'll always like say something or like ask her something about the game, and she'll just be like, I don't remember it at all. And I'm like, how do you not remember it? Like, it's just my brain just remembers stupid video game shit.
And yet, you can't remember what 2 + 2 is.
It's like 6?
Damn, you were close. You almost got it.
Fuck! Ah!
Anything to add to this tangent, Eric?
Oh, there was the game we played after was another Tales game, Graces F or something. And I will tell you, I don't remember that game at all. It's really weird. I own it. It's sitting over there on my desk, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
I have a really good memory for trivia in general. Like sometimes I'll watch Jeopardy, and there are some categories where I'll know every answer, and I'll think like I should be on Jeopardy. But then there are other categories where I know nothing, so I'm like, well, I guess I couldn't be on Jeopardy.
Yeah, but the whole thing about...
I think you could still... Yeah,
the whole thing about
the thing
Jeopardy
is, like, you have strengths and weaknesses. I mean, no one's going to get all of them unless you're that one guy that got all of them.
Yeah, no, like, if you watch that show... Yeah, but I would
have to have, like, if I got lucky and had a good set of categories, I could probably win. But if I got unlucky and had a bad set of categories, I'd probably lose catastrophically, is what
You'll
I'm saying.
never know, Eric.
Well, yeah, you never know, but, like, the thing about that show is, like, yeah, a lot of those people, you'll see them, and they won't answer entire questions throughout entire rows. Like, they only answer the stuff that they know, and with the Jeopardy, it's all about the final question, which... most of the time are pretty general.
You can double your money. Like, I remember one question was, who is the what video game was the first video game that Mario, also known as Jumpman, appeared in?
Was it really?
Wow. That was one of the final questions, and someone put The Legend of Zordlo.
Oh my god!
And like,
I guess if you knew absolutely nothing about video games, though, that would be a relatively hard question.
There's a WoW question, and it's like, in the plane of Azeroth, heroes do battle with such characters as Leroy Jenkins, and none of them get it. And he's just like, what is World of Warcraft?
Yeah. See, that one... you don't do battle with Leroy Jenkins, though, so it's a little bit of a weird question.
I probably...
know it. I mean, yeah, you would have gotten it, because you hear Azeroth, you think, wow.
Well, I just probably said the question wrong, but I just thought it was funny that, like, there was a WoW question, and they talked about, like, Azeroth and Leroy Jenkins.
So this was a really long tangent, but, we're talking about Family Guy, so I guess you could say it was a cutaway we just did.
A Conway Twitty Lane cutaway.
Yeah. Episodes I do like of Family Guy are the Brian and Stewie adventures, the ones where they get into a sticky situation, they have a couple of musicals, and it's just like Brian and Stewie just doing Brian and Stewie stuff. Those are my favorite episodes.
I think my favorite ever might be the whole Blue Harvest trilogy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, those are like, so good.
Yeah, those are like the best because it's off of one of the most successful sci-fi stories ever. Like, you make a satire of Star Wars, it's going to be hilarious.
I think what might be my favorite sequence in the whole series is hard to pinpoint one, but I love in the first one the whole thing with the couch.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Find the couch in the
because it's like the ridiculousness of it's the ridiculousness of him trying to take a couch when they're in danger.
Yeah,
but then also the whole like the dialogue when they're moving it. It's like the best Family Guy jokes are the ones that nail on something that's perfect to reality. And it's like, yeah, that's like any conversation anyone's ever had when they're trying to move a heavy piece of furniture.
Yeah.
They nailed it.
They nailed it. I know that people are like, oh, Family Guy ripped off Friends because Friends has a scene with a couch, but it's like Friends did it so bad, where Family Guy, it's so spot on.
Other jokes like that is the one where, like, how a pizza place makes a salad.
Oh my god, I saw that one, like, last night. They're like, these jalapenos that are too hot to eat, throw the whole jar in. What about this carrot? Shave it lengthwise and just one slice.
It's like, should I put it in a bowl? Nah, put it in a lasagna tray and put it on top of the pizzas so it gets nice and hot.
Yeah. Whole olives. Then, it's like, what about tomato? Cut it in 4 so you can like use it as fake teeth.
And then the phone rings and he's just like, hello, every pizza place.
Yeah. The thing with the Blue Harvest, they do it like scene per scene, but like, you know, Star Wars is like 2 hours, but like Family Guy is like 22 minutes. Like, I don't.
Well, I think those were longer. I think those were specials, weren't they? I think it was maybe more like 40-minute.
Oh, maybe.
Let's see.
Even then, it's a lot to condense, but.
But they get like every I'm sure there's probably some scenes that they don't get, but like it's
Right.
pretty much every scene. It's all the important ones.
Right. No, they did a really good job of that. They follow the movies pretty much exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe those were hour-long episodes.
I love how so during that time, Robot Chicken was also doing Star Wars episodes, and Chris is voiced by Seth Green, who makes Robot Chicken.
And I love that argument.
Yeah, yeah. And like they bring up Seth Green so much in those episodes.
They do it again in the Jedi one. They flat out reference Seth Green, and they're like, he was popular for a while in the 90s. No, he wasn't. And he's like, yeah, he was in Austin Powers.
Yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, I gotta go see the new Austin Powers. Gotta see what Seth Green's up to.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, he was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That was a pretty popular show. It wasn't. People said it was popular, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Which is the truth, though. Like, people said it was popular, but it's not. I think it's like almost bigger now on the internet. Like people that just don't get over Buffy.
Well, it's a cult series, the same way, like, X-Files is a cult series, I'd say.
I know that, like, I would never go into school the next day and people would talk about Buffy.
Well, I mean, I don't want to go off on another tangent. Apparently, it was a lot more popular in Europe than it was here. But, yeah, I agree with you. Here, it was definitely, like, a handful of people watched it. It was not, like, a widely watched show.
I don't mind the tangents for this episode because it's just, like you said, it's like cutaway gags.
Yeah.
It's just whatever.
Plus, I'm just not trying to...
I think the Family Guy talk has pretty much come to an end.
Well, on the Family Guy talk, Blue Harvest was 3 episodes, but the second one, so it's Blue Harvest, Something Something Dark Side, and It's a Trap. Something Something Dark Side was 2 episodes. The other ones were just 1.
Really? So they were only 20 minutes?
From what I see, yes.
Huh. I could have sworn they were all... Wow.
That's crazy. That makes it even more crazy because they get almost all the scenes into 20 minutes.
Yeah. Also, I like the running joke how Meg never gets a good character. Like, in the first one, she's the monster in the garbage, and the second one, she's the monster in the asteroid, and in the third one, she's the Sarlacc.
Yeah.
I know that Peter as Han Solo. I mean, come on.
I know that the second one really wasn't that good, but the first and third one are really funny.
The second one's probably the weakest of the 3, but as a trilogy, it's all good.
I love in the third one where they're going to do the escape from Jabba, and they just keep nodding at each other, and it goes on for like 3 minutes.
Was Joe Jabba?
Yeah.
Joe doesn't get good characters either, honestly.
Also,
he's always got a handicap.
Also, a little side note. Again, we're talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, it always comes up in this fucking podcast somehow.
Okay.
It's because you two have a giant boner for Star Wars.
When
we talk about Family Guy, though, like Star Wars is gonna come up because Blue Moon was like some of their best, like some of the episodes that people remember most about Family Guy.
Yeah. Well, but like me and Eric always talk about this. We're like we talk about Star Wars on the podcast so much, but it's neither of ours.
We never intend to. It always just comes up.
It's not like I get obsessed over things like Lisa, Gurren Lagann, blah blah blah. But Star Wars was never my main thing.
Yeah, same with me. It was never. Well, it was when I was maybe in my early teens.
You were like the books, the magazine.
Yeah, okay. I was obsessed with it for a while in my teens, but for well over a decade, it's never been something that's been at the forefront of my mind. But somehow it always comes up somehow.
Yeah,
because it's the biggest pop culture event in history.
I know that I made a quote unquote official list of my favorite fictional characters, and I put Darth Vader slash Anakin Skywalker as my like fourth favorite character of all time. But still, Star Wars doesn't come close to being one of my favorite things of all time.
Was this before or after Rick and Morty?
Why would Rick and Morty have anything to do with anything?
I was just wondering if Rick and Morty were going to be in the top 5, or like if Rick was in your top 5 characters of all time.
Nah, see, fuck, can I even remember it? It was,
Or Mr. Poopy Butthole, was he in the top 5?
No. It's,
in mine.
From 5 to 1, it was, Princess Garnet from Final Fantasy IX, Anakin, number 3, honestly, I don't remember, but then 2 was Brad from Lisa, and then 1 is Kamina from Gurren Lagann. But number 3, I don't know. I can't remember. And it's gonna bug me.
Put Mr. Poopy Butthole there.
No. He's like in 2 episodes, kind of.
I know who it was.
Yeah, but you always reference him.
I remember who it was. He told me this list.
Who was it?
It was Princess Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony. Friendship is Magic.
All right, that's it. We're done.
You're off.
All right,
you're off
in
the
the
podcast.
fucking show. We're done. I'm leaving.
It's from now on. It's the Mike and Garrett show.
Yep.
Hey, you said she
there
was
will
your
be no
favorite
more
pony.
My Little Pony references now that Eric is gone. So we've got that going for us.
Thank God.
Although Eric knows dates of things that were before 1980, so
We need him on the calendar.
You should probably keep me around just for that.
Yeah.
yeah, you're all right to have around.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's okay.
He's okay.
I probably have the best memory of the 3 of us, so.
Oh yeah, well I can remember emerging from the womb.
My
The doctor slapped me on the ass.
My fucking memory is either like spot on perfect or like I'm just completely fucking wrong. It's
Which one
really
is it?
frustrating.
Are you usually wrong or are you usually spot on?
So he's saying it's
Like-
one or the other.
I like to
One
think
is
I'm
more.
more right than wrong, but I don't know. As I get older, my mind's slipping, boys.
You're not even 30 yet, Mike. You're like 27 or something. Like,
I'm turning 28 soon.
yeah, you're fucking not that old, man.
Well, I've been
People are getting Alzheimer's at like 80, so
I've
you can
been
chill.
trying to prolong the podcast because I've been scrolling down my Facebook feed to find my list. But holy shit, how long ago was that even?
I can just start singing to prolong. No, wait, hold on. Cut this and then put on some Conway Twitty. We'll be right back.
Yeah. And we'll just be like, oh my God, Garrett! You did it! He's so beautiful. Well, what are our final thoughts on Family Guy?
It's a good show. I'll continue to watch it until it's over, which, with The Simpsons, long time going on, Family Guy might not ever end either, so I don't know. But yeah, I'll continue to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's going downhill, but it's not bad enough that I want to abandon it, so I'll stick with it.
It's not like a plane or comet plummeting to the earth. It's just like a slow bicycle.
Slow decline. Yeah.
I guess at this point I've watched Family Guy longer than I've watched The Simpsons, and I always say that The Simpsons was a better show. But I guess Family Guy, it's still pretty decent.
Yeah, like I said, there's still some gems in each season.
Oh my God, guys, I found it. Okay.
Jesus.
Oh, okay. So it was Princess Garnet, Mugen from Samurai Champloo, Anakin Skywalker, Brad from Lisa, and then Kamina from Gurren Lagann.
There you go.
That's my top 5. All right, with that, podcast over. Woo!
All right. I guess we'll see you guys later.
Good night. We love you. I'm waiting for Eric to say his catchphrase.
I don't have a catchphrase.
Say see you next time. Say see you next time. Every time. Okay. Bye.